Lovely. Nice. Guessing we're green for go. Awesome. Good evening, friends. Hello, and welcome to episode number 4 of Let's Talk Board Games. I am Chris, Mr. Chris, and we are going to be delving into our seasonal December show. Welcome, season's greetings, everyone. I hope everyone's having a lovely day out in internet land. Crack on with the show and let you know what's going off today. Before I go much further, we must do our obligatory announcement to our sponsor. Hello, Mr. Sponsor, who are byfullbodyarmors.com. Do check them out. They have some amazing cosplay suits, and I say these are like the top of the Mark 1. Check out the new War Machine model. It's particularly good. So go have and check that out. Again, that's a reminder, that's byfullbodyarmors.com. So let's crack on with the show. Who we are and what have we got going on today? Well, of course, we've got myself, the founder, Mr. Chris. We're going to have Giorgio, the rules lawyer. He's on the line as well. Say hi, George.
Good evening, everyone. Merry Christmas.
Yes, and we also have our not so much noob anymore. We need to give her a new handle, Rebecca.
Hello.
Yes, I think we should start calling her the Kickstarter. She keeps introducing us to new things.
And of course, we also have a yeah. Just call it Kick. Maybe. Anyway, but we've also got a very special guest with us this evening. We have the designer Nikita Sullivan of Malum Horus. It's a new game coming, and she's going to be telling us all about that. Can you hear us, Nikita?
Yep.
Lovely. Brilliant. So Nikita will probably be chiming in and out throughout the show, but she'll be talking to us more about the game later. But without further ado, shall we crack on? What are we going to be covering this evening? Well, I'm going to be talking to you guys about Dorderesque. George has been trolling Steam quite a lot and going to be covering the electronic version of which I'm very excited to hear about because I've not even played the board game version and I've heard it's stunning. So we'll be finding out more about that. And of course, we've also got Rebecca going to be talking about Hedgeways with us. So I'm intrigued about that one because I've not seen much about that one. So we'll open up the show and crack on, shall we? So, well, I'm up first by the looks of it. I completely forgot that it was me. Dorderesque is, or Dorderesque, I don't know, however you quite pronounce it, by Tetrahedron Games. I actually got this as a Kickstarter bonus with my last game, Valhalla, which was also one of their successful Kickstarters. Actually quite a cute little game, to be honest. The graphics are adorable. It's designed for 2 to 4 players. But you can add on more with the expansion, and the expansion that you can see on screen at the moment is Cherry Blossom. And the aim of the game is everyone's just got to make the prettiest nest. Sounds dead simple, but then you've got a few challenges that you've got to overcome as well at the same time. You know, other dodos.
Ah, lovely, lovely.
Nicking stuff off you. So, yeah, to be completely honest, especially when I say as an added bonus of one of those tier elements from the game. So from getting Valhalla. So of course we've not reviewed that yet. I touched on that last time in the last show, didn't I, guys?
You did mention Valhalla last time. Yes. I'll say.
Yeah.
We're looking forward to trying it out together. When you can get the rules lawyer to break it down into simple dummy speak at times.
Don't we speak at times? Yes, yeah. But what was really nice that I got with this, it was a part of the Kickstarter, was the cute little mini statues. I don't know whether you can make that out or not.
Yes.
How adorable are those? Absolutely cute as hell. So you get that one, and you also get another one, which is really kind of awesome. They're so cute.
They are very cute.
They are. I don't normally go in
My wife loves
much, but they look really cool.
They are really cool. And there's a future expansion that's going to be coming. And they actually get minifigures to represent your dodo as well, which is kind of cool because you can, while it says it's a 4-player, you can actually combine the base game, which is the one you can see on the right of the screen, with Cherry Blossom to allow up to eight players to play. So it's really kind of cool. It's a cutesy little game. It's a little bit of a gimmick, but you know, what more do you expect? It's been out for, well, how long have I had this now? I've had this probably a couple of months, but I think Dorderesque, the original, was out well before that. So Tetrahedron Games are producing quite a few interesting games. So it's definitely worth one to give it a go. It's one that I plan to play with George when we're when we're allowed to be in the same households again. It really does suck this time of year.
Yeah.
And this year. 2020, I think, in general, has just sucked.
Yeah, 2020 was the year that no one asked for.
Without a doubt. Yes.
We're all on Santa's naughty list.
Yeah. Well, I hope we're not. I hope we're not on Santa's naughty list. I thought Santa this year was just, you know, everyone's been good.
Yeah, the year's just a write-off. Santa's taking it easy on everyone.
Yes, yeah, I don't blame him. I don't blame him. I mean, Santa may be immune, but he still follows, you know, all the guidelines. He's sanitizing and he's making sure he takes his boots off when he goes into people's houses, apparently. So I've had it on good word.
It's too fast for COVID to catch him.
Yes. But yes, guys, so if anyone's out there who likes the look of this, it is, like I said, it is a fun little cute game. You can go check out Tetrahedron Games and check out Dorderesque and Cherry Blossom.
So would you say it's a good kids game?
You can play it with it. It's a good all-rounder, actually. While yes, it is good for kids, you know, I think adults can get, you know, enjoyment from it. I must admit the translation from the German to English rules first round weren't great, and it took me to actually follow, believe it or not, a video tutorial on how to play it, because just the way it was written just wasn't very well written down. So if you are looking at this game, do check out a couple of the video guides on how to play this, because it just clarifies a couple of things. It can be a bit confusing with decks, because you have 3 decks to choose from building, you know, your nests. So and some of the symbols weren't quite matching up or making any sense. But as soon as I watched that video, it was a lot clearer. So do check that out if you have got a copy, or if you are looking to get a copy. It's not a terrible game. But it's what I would call, like we said before, an amuse-bouche of games. It starts off your evening of gaming carnage. You want a quick game to just get everyone ready, wet their whistle with a quick game. This is one of those games. You can play this really quick. Not as quick as Doggo Dash, like we talked about. Sorry?
How long is the playtime?
Up to maximum of 30 minutes.
Okay.
So it doesn't take that horrendously long. But, you know, I may have been playing it wrong when we first played it the first time around. So maybe up to a maximum, maybe 40 minutes. But as soon as everyone starts to get to know what you're doing, it will soon speed up.
So it's always the case with a game. The first few times you play through it, it takes a lot longer than they estimate that the game takes. Yeah. Once you're familiar with them, they go much quicker.
Yeah, exactly. So it's the way these, you know, there were some of these games go. You know, you pick it up and that's it, you play. So, but yeah, do have a check it out. It's like, because it's available on the Tetrahedron Game website, so go take a look. They're still taking orders ready for Christmas. I think they should still be out in time. So all being well and good, fingers crossed. If you want to get a copy, go grab one. Anyway, without further ado, we'll crack on. And we'll move on to Rebecca, because I think you're going to be telling about this. I hadn't seen this prior to you telling me about this.
So this game is it's quite a recent game, but it has launched. You can purchase it retail, but I acquired it as a Kickstarter, actually as a gift from Gregor, but it was a Kickstarter. And it's a really lovely little game. I don't think there's many copies in circulation at the moment. I have copy number 27 of the first 500.
Nice.
So Hedgeways is it's another quick game, and the reason that I'm doing a quick game today is that I got a PS5, so I've not had a lot of time to play anything much. So I've been enjoying Hedgeways. So it's by a company, two guys, Sprout and Gherkin. Those aren't their real names.
I hope not. That's very unfortunate. Their parents must have really disliked them.
Even out of the Harry Potter fans.
Their whole thing is making eco-friendly and sustainable games. So everything within this box is sustainably sourced. Most of it, I believe, is compostable. So if you decide that you don't want it anymore and you'd rather put it in the bin, you can put it in the compost. But that's the main reason that I was interested in it, because I try to live my life in a way that's a bit less impact than perhaps it used to be. So it's a really simple one. It's got like 2 rules, and I'd almost describe it like a cross between Quirkle, if you've played Quirkle, and that game that you used to play when you were a kid, where you drew out like a grid of dots and then you took it in turns to draw a line between 2 of the dots to try and enclose.
Yes, I remember that as a kid.
I don't know if that's the name, but I'd almost describe it like that. So the tiles that you see on the screen there, basically, every turn you have 4 tiles and you can play between 1 and 3 tiles. The rule being that the colours have to match. So if you have a pink one there, you have to put a pink one there. And your goal is to enclose spaces. So when you fully enclose a space, you get points, which amount to the sort of the number of gaps that are in there. So a bigger space will get you more points. That's why I say it's a bit like that game on the notepad that you used to play. The reason I say it's like Quirkle is really just the colour matching in terms of gameplay, not really a lot like Quirkle. I just got a bit of a Quirkle vibe, that's all. So yeah, it's a really quick one for 2 players. It takes about 10 minutes. Probably do it faster, probably do it slower. It's up to you. But yeah, it is good fun. There's actually quite a lot of meat in it for a little game, because it kind of depends who you're playing with. If you're playing with somebody who's very tactical, strategic, you're gonna want to be like thinking about your moves a little bit more. Gregor is very crafty, so whenever I play even a little game like this with him, I have to be on it. But yeah, I would recommend checking it out. They are still selling copies on their website, just retail copies. Cannot remember off the top of my head what their website is called, but if you search Sprout and Gherkin, you'll find it. Yeah, that's Hedgeways.
Indeed. I'll say we seem to have lost Mr. Chris for now, but I'm sure he will be back with us shortly. And I will. I'll take over. Unfortunately, I don't have a copy of the presentation, but we will continue on anyway. Whilst I'm sure that he will be able to come soon. So I know he's been having a few internet problems tonight. But so yes, I've been talking tonight about the Steam edition of Wingspan. I say Wingspan obviously took the world by storm since it came out in 2019, and I can understand why. It is an absolutely beautiful game. It's lovely, it's light-hearted, there's not too much dicking each other over. I say it's just some nice light player interaction, good little engine building game, and actually quite a lot of fun. I say I've not played the physical version. I've seen enough playthroughs of it, and it was on my list to get anyway. It was just trying to find a copy. So when I got a chance to try it out on Steam, I was very happy. And I really wasn't disappointed. It's probably one of the best digitizations of a game I have seen ever. The soundtrack is beautiful, and I will happily listen to the soundtrack all day. It is just so light and peaceful and relaxing. I say my wife absolutely loves it because she's obsessed with owls. So we get owls all the time. And anytime an owl comes up, I'm fighting her for it because I like playing the gameplay of the owls with the card tuckage and the predators. But in general, it's just an absolutely beautiful game. And
I've never actually played Wingspan, and I've looked at it so many times, and I thought, oh, that looks really cool. I like the little eggs because they look like mini eggs, and I love mini eggs. And it's Stonemaier, isn't it? Stonemaier Games.
Yes, it is Stone.
And I've played a couple of other of theirs, and really enjoyed all of them. So I keep looking at it and thinking, oh, I should get it. I should get it. Keeps like the retail price keeps going like, whoo, like 80 quid, 60 quid, 80 quid.
I would say trying to find a copy is the hard point. So it's the good old capitalism supply and demand job.
Yeah. I don't actually know what the gameplay is like, but the only reason I'm like, oh yeah, maybe I'll get a copy of that is because Stonemaier Games for me have a really good reputation. And I think birds are nice.
Yeah, I would say I think I'm not sure whether I would love the physical version as much, but I really like the digital version, and that little things like they've partnered with the Cornell Ornithology Library, so they've actually got all the bird calls that with all of the birds.
Oh,
so every time you play a bird, you get the bird call and you get the facts about it. And I say it's been really well presented. It's got a great user interface. I say unlike most Steam games, I've not found a single bug in it at all. Most Steam games digitizations, there's something that bugs you, even if it's just I've clearly selected that by accident and I've got no option to undo. It's actually got easy undo options until a point where it would cause problems to undo it.
Oh,
I think so. Most things have a subtle confirmation, but it doesn't feel. I mean, again, sometimes when they ask confirmations, it feels like, yeah, I'm ticking, 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 and it doesn't feel like that. It just feels very natural. And so I've had a good game with Mr. Dan the other day, and I happily play with the wife in a lunch hour as well. It runs through a game quite quickly, and I like little subtle details with it, like in the gameplay where it's the first round you get 8 actions, but then as you commit your action tiles to the bonus points, you start getting fewer and fewer actions each round.
Oh, so it kind of speeds up as the game
does. But it also does more and more because as you keep going and engine building, so it never feels like you're behind at all. So it works really nicely.
Yeah. How much does it cost? What's the bad news?
I'll say the retail version is what you can get it for.
Yeah,
I think is the simple answer. On Steam, it's not too bad, and certainly if you can get in a Steam sale, it comes up fairly frequently. So I think I bought it for £11 on Steam, and I think it is. And I think that is for the quality of the game. I don't resent paying that at all.
No, that's quite a reasonable.
It was a very good one. I'll say some Steam games, sort of when they start asking for £15 odd, I start saying, well, I need to buy a copy of that for everyone in my group. I've just bought the game, but I don't have the game.
Yeah.
But then you get some nice versions where I've just bought Isle of Skye recently. Well, it was on sale in the Black Friday sale for £1.
Hey guys.
Welcome back, Mr. Chris.
Welcome back, Chris.
My complete internet just dropped, so I'm very sorry. Thank you. You carry on, George.
No, that's all right. So yeah, we're just talking about the lovely price point of Wingspan. It's actually really quite good value on Steam. One of the few games as well that's actually cross OS, that it runs for both Windows and Mac, which is a nice feature.
Oh, it runs on Mac, does it?
I'm fairly certain it runs on Mac. I'm sure I checked that before I sent it over, but it is one of those that Steam games often don't run on Mac, and it annoys my wife because she is an Apple fan.
I mean, my Mac is a work machine, but I'm sure they wouldn't mind if I put a game on it.
Educational purposes.
Yes, I've seen this from a visual perspective as the board game. I don't know if anyone's already said this, but it looks stunning, and the fact that they've ported this across and it looks just as pretty says a lot.
I would say, if anything, it's prettier. I say, just little things like the background, as we were saying, the fact that they've actually partnered with the Cornell Ornithology Library, so that all the bird calls are in the game.
Wow, that's cool.
It is just a lovely, lovely game. And I say, I would highly recommend anyone to buy it on Steam. I would highly recommend you buy a physical copy if you can. It's an absolutely lovely game. I say my only complaint is that at times it feels a bit like playing solitaire, in that there isn't a huge amount of player interaction beyond the shared resource pools. But it's never bothered me, and certainly in a social context, you're still going to be interacting with all your people around the table or over whatever chat server you use whilst you're playing remotely. So I've absolutely loved my experience with it so far.
Yeah, fantastic. And I will point out, because I'm bound to get someone online saying that it's not a Nomad Games. No, it's not. It's not Nomad Games. It's actually done by Stonemaier, isn't it?
It is Stonemaier.
Yeah. So do ignore that mistake at the bottom of the screen, guys. It's Stonemaier. Do check out Stonemaier. I do apologise for that mistake. I don't know how I missed that, to be honest.
I know how you missed that, but
probably just an oversight. Fantastic. Well, thank you for taking over, George. While I completely lost internet, I'm actually tethering off my phone at the moment because something's gone off downstairs, and I thought just get back online as quick as possible. So
we've managed without you. It's fine.
Yeah, you fumbled through. Well done. Thank you very much.
And you were saying at the beginning of the show that George needs to get some practice in for hosting, right?
Yeah.
So no time like an emergency.
Yes. Yeah. So it's all good. Thank you very much for taking over, George.
Quite right.
So are we all happy with what we've covered on Wingspan?
I was going to ask how many players it is actually, and how the Steam one is for playing locally.
So if I recall, it's 2 to 4 players. In terms of local play, it's okay. I think it's the same, I would say, disadvantage of a lot of local play, that it assumes that you're not looking at the screen together, that they treat it as a pass and play as opposed to sat together with playing. Because little things like what should be hidden bonus cards, if you're seeing the other person select them, then obviously not hidden bonus cards.
Yeah.
But equally, unless you are particularly devious, not looking anywhere at anybody, and deliberately buying the appropriate things to mess over the other person, then it really doesn't make a huge difference whether you see what they've got or not. So
Yeah, I suppose so.
Yeah, I think most digital games are kind of, for local play anyway, they're not great for hiding your...
Yeah, depends if you've got multiple copies of the game on more than one computer, in which case then you could do local play quite easily.
Yeah, like I play Lords of Waterdeep with Gregor or Charterstone sometimes, and we just have to have a trust, although we don't really, because we both break it and hate draft against each other against their secrets.
But I was saying, but it's one of those things that you can give as good as you get, so it just adds a new element of strategy.
Well, yeah, I suppose if both players have the advantage, it's not really an advantage, is it?
Yeah, it just changes the dynamic a little.
Ticket to Ride does it really well, but you both use they've got it on PlayStation, and then you're using your phones to do your bits.
They got it on PlayStation.
Yeah, so you've got like a shared screen where you can see the board, and then on your phone you can only see the cards and tickets that you have.
Oh, that's
cool.
cool.
That's clever.
I didn't even know it was on PlayStation.
It works.
Oh, well,
really
for those of you who love Ticket to Ride, did you know that Ticket to Ride has an Alexa app, so you can add Alexa as an extra player into your local Ticket to Ride games?
Really?
I've heard that recently, and I swear it must have been you last month.
That's weird. I don't know if I'd want to play with a robot.
I don't think I want to play with Alexa. While I like Alexa, she infuriates me sometimes. So...
I'm a bit tinfoil hat, so I don't have one in my house. Like they creep me out. They really creep me out. I could go on a whole tangent about that, but I'm not going to.
Yeah, no, we won't. That's time for another time.
Yeah, I think the only other slight downside I've had with Wingspan is that sometimes there are some borderline broken combinations of cards which can really unbalance a game very quickly, and so you're fighting for second best. But it's a very rare occurrence, so nothing to particularly shout home about. But I think it's only because I happened to get it on the second game that we played, and it was just that it just became a points factory where normally you have to actually work to get the points, and so it was. But it's not happened since because it's. I say I'll give a spoiler that it was the particular one was the Northern Chickadee and the Canada Goose. That the Canada Goose was every turn you can use one resource to stash 2 cards from the deck, and so every time you stash a card it gives you points. And the Northern Chickadee gave you the resource that you needed. So every time you did the action, you were getting 2 points every time. So it just became a little points factory because there was no requirement to go and do the actions to get the other things that you needed, which is what normally needs to happen.
Well,
so.
I will look out for that combination when I give it a play, and also hopefully, fingers crossed, get a copy of the real game because it's one on my shopping list, and I'm sure I hear it's on quite a few shopping lists because it can be quite difficult to get hold of. I don't know if they've done a reprint or not.
It can be very difficult to get hold of. I think they must be doing a reprint. I'm sure that it's been so popular since its release.
Yeah.
Well, they're doing an expansion,
trying to keep up with demand.
Yeah.
What do you mean an expansion? They've already got 2 released. They've got the
Oceania
birds and they've got the European birds.
I've heard on the rumor mill that there's going to be another one coming. So
more than likely.
Demand for this game is just insane. Like I was at UK Games Expo the year that it launched, and everybody had a copy of it in their bag or in their hand. Just everyone had it. And I was like, why is everyone buying this game? What is this game? Never heard of it before.
I say it took off just as much at Essen as well. And I say it's not really a surprise that it won the Kennerspiel either.
No, not at all. Anyway, so we'll move on to our next section. How's that come on here? I think we are now on this section where Nikita's going to tell us all about her game.
Yay!
Hey!
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, so
Deadly
tell us about
flowers.
Okay, so what I was going to do is read the intro to kind of set the scene of what the game is like and about, and then give more details on the game, if that's all right with everyone.
Go for it.
Okay. So, you wake to the sweet smell of flowers. Aches run through your body as you try to move. You've been asleep on the cold and unforgiving ground. Trying not to panic, you take stock. You aren't injured, but you can't remember where you are or why you chose to sleep here. Was it your choice to sleep here? No, you wouldn't. You know yourself. You would find somewhere, you would have found shelter and comfort. You rack your brain for your last memory, and finally you remember. The beautiful flowers, the alluring smell. During the day, this place seemed like heaven, so inviting. You never wanted to leave, and a chill of dread takes hold of you as you realize that maybe you never will, because now you remember it all. As the sun went down, this wonderful garden with its peaceful sights and sounds began to change. All that seemed right was then wrong. You saw cruel eyes, gnashing teeth, hungry smiles, and all from the flowers you so adored. The lashing vines, the razor-sharp thorns. They knocked you out. They've been feeding on your energy. You can feel it. Your magic is drained. How will you fight back if you can't even... You take a deep breath and pull yourself together. You know you need to get out of here, and there's precious little daylight left. Move during the day, hide away at night, and do all you can to break out of this nightmare, to escape Malum Horus.
Ooh.
That's the intro.
Nice intro. Wow.
Details. It's a 1 to 4 player co-op game. You're all playing as magical nymphs who have been drawn into the garden, and you now find yourself in the center of your game board. There are 4 paths out. All the paths are different lengths. They all have their own dangers. So like the shortest path to get out is actually the most dangerous. You're more likely to die if you take that path, the longer one. So when you're playing solo, which I need to do lots and lots of balancing on, it's very, very different to when you're playing with 4 players, because all the nymphs have different powers. So if you've got 4 players, you've got all of the powers, but you've also got all of their weaknesses. As you go, so the game's played in 2 phases. In the day phase, you're moving using rune stones that all have actions. Some are giving you magic, some are healing you. And there's adorable little woodland critters that you find. There's a little deer on the slide, that's one of them, that you find along the way, and you can choose to use your magic to help free them for more points when you reach the end, but then you might have less magic to defend yourself later. So you're all deciding together how you might use your different skills in different ways. And then the night phase, all of the flowers, who also have their own little standees on the boards, move using dice rolls, and if they land on you, they attack. There is 1 chance for 1 person to die. If you die, you go back to the... Well, it's death as in you kind of pass out and they get to sap your energy again. So you wake up again in the middle.
Right.
But then you are corrupted, which counts for less points at the end of the game as well. So it's a little bit, I guess, pandemic-y in that you like go, oh, we won, but we didn't get this, that, and the other that we'd have liked to do. So we play a game to try and get it all. So like you might want to play and try and save every single critter, but then you won't win the game because you didn't balance your resources well enough. So you've got magic and health as a resource. Each player has their own health amount, but the magic is like a pooled resource.
Okay, that's kind of cool. I'm just kind of mesmerized by from what you told us with that lovely intro, and then looking at this beautiful artwork. Have you developed the artwork yourself? Yeah, so I do pretty much everything, all of the artwork and stuff. So the art is taking me a long time, but I'm okay with that because it's a passion project. It needs lots of balancing, lots of playtesting to get it right. And while all that's going on, I'm gradually doing the artwork in the background.
So who or what is Malum Horus? Do we find out?
So Malum Horus is an evil garden, and it is genuinely Latin for evil garden.
Oh, okay, cool.
I'll say you've literally just answered the question which just come through on the stream of what was the inspiration for the name of the game.
Yeah, so I got the idea of this game just kind of came. The mechanics have built over time. Like the first couple of playthroughs, I was like, it needs something more. And adding in the critters really solved that because it was like an extra thing for you to decide. Also, whenever you save a critter, you draw a card that might change what's happening that round a little bit. And I didn't mention that at the end of the night phase, you draw a night card, and that changes what's happening in the next. So it might be like the next round, flowers don't move, or they move twice, or something else like that. And there's a bit of story in there as to why it's happening as well.
Wow. Okay, that's
Is there
kind of
like
cool.
quite a lot of narrative in this game? Is it really like narrative driven?
So there isn't a fixed narrative. Like there's not a story of you started here and you get to here, but all of the cards have a little bit of story to read, which I imagine the first few times you play it and before you've met every single card, you'd read out. But to make it easier for people who just want to play their game, the actual relevant parts of the card are in bold. So you can just go, oh, this turn we moved twice. To make it easier for the people who don't want a read heavy thing, it's just, this is what we do with this card.
Yeah. It's nice to have the option of going full in on the story or just having a quick game, I guess.
Yeah.
I'll say the artwork looks absolutely stunning.
Yeah.
So considering that we were talking about with Wingspan and the beautiful artwork, I think this makes that look, well, naff.
Wow. I'm definitely saving that audio clip when you put this back through forever.
Yeah, well, we're more than happy to put that on the review when we get our nitty gritty hands on this to playtest it, because I'm really intrigued about playtesting this. So what was the inspiration behind this? Was there anything that particularly really kind of you drew from?
There was nothing specific. So what happened is at the end of my Kickstarter campaign for Try to Win, well, halfway through, I have a notebook full of ideas, like absolutely full to the brim of ideas. And I was thinking very pragmatically, and I was like, I'll prototype the 3 that are the most fleshed out. We'll play test them, we'll see which seems nicest, and I'll build on that as my next Kickstarter. And instead, like, I got the idea from Malum Horus, and as soon as I started to even think about prototyping it, nothing else was happening. I was just like, well, I'm working on this now. This is it. This is definitely it. We're not looking at the others. We're not doing that. And then once Malum Horus, like, I'd say it's 90% there in terms of the gameplay. There are balancing issues and things like that, and checking that those story
there always is.
Yeah, and checking that those story cards kind of gel with people as well, and they feel like they go with the theme and everything. But yeah, so gameplay wise, it's 90% there. Artwork wise, it's like 2% there. So that's why I've done a few other projects in the meantime, because I love this game so much, but I know it's not going to fund on Kickstarter until it's got like at least 500 fans on it, which is, you know. So yeah, I call it my flagship game. It's my real passion project. And I love working on my little games in between as well, because it helps as well. It kind of informs decisions on other bits.
Do you do this full time? Is this or is this a side hobby to your day job?
Yeah, no, I made it my day job.
Oh, nice. That's the dream.
Yeah. So it was easy enough to do in that I was working as a graphic designer, and I just kind of decided I'd just do the graphics for me now and no one else. I've had a couple of people suggest that they might want me to do the graphics for their games, but I've got so much to work on already. And I kind of like that I've picked a different artistic style for each of my games, and I kind of want to keep doing that unless one style becomes just enamored with it not to use it.
Yeah.
So if I do graphics for someone else, then that's a style that I don't feel like I can use on my game. So like I'm kind of exploring my own artistic style at the same time.
So can I take this opportunity to say that as a little thank you for you being on the show, you've given us a little exclusive sneak peek that you've been working on this week. Am I correct that you've put in hours this week just for us?
Yeah, just for you.
So this
I'm really glad for the prompt as well, to be honest.
Sorry?
I'm really glad for the prompt to do it as well, to be honest.
Yeah. Well, this is a Diary of a Lincoln Geek exclusive. You know, thanks to Malum Horus, we can actually show you an animated graphic of one of the plants. So shall I kick it off?
Yes.
Ooh.
Creepy. I'm never going to look at a plant the same way ever again. I've got a Christmas cactus in the corner that I no longer trust. I like it. Very subtle. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, it's the start of it, and I'm going to try and incorporate into each of the flowers on the orchid so that they look like there are lots of different gnashing mouths and stuff. But I like it, and I like
awesome.
Yeah,
it's great. Yeah. Keep that style, and yeah, I'll look forward to seeing them. I'll almost be gutted that they don't change. Are they going to be double-sided then?
I really want to, because they're going to be standees that you're playing with. So I'd really like to have the day version on one side and the night version on the other.
I could see that.
I'm not decided yet whether the game board is going to be just ridiculously creepy throughout and the nighttime game board, or I'd really like to do day on one end and night on the other, and kind of.
Oh, that sounds good. I like that idea.
It's like one of those things that if it's done really, really well could look amazing, or if someone just isn't really liking the theme or get into it or anything like that, they might just be like, that's a big crap in it. So I don't know.
Yeah. I would say it's like, what you say, it's like if you've got like the 4 paths, is it like really dark and miserable in the middle and then really light near the edges where you nearly escape?
Might be a good idea actually. So it's like the closer to escape you get, the more you can see the sunlight kind of thing.
Yeah. I like that idea. That's quite nice.
Yeah, I mean, like you mentioned earlier, this isn't the first game that you're going to be working on. If I remember correctly, you said you're hoping it's going to be out at the end of 2021. Is that the kind of plan?
Yes, so I'm building a following for it. Every time I send out a bit of new artwork, someone says, when is this game going to be on Kickstarter? And that's nice. And I'm really, really hoping by the end of 2021, I'll feel confident to push it out on Kickstarter.
Fantastic. Well, we'll be keeping a very close eye on it, and do feel free to keep us in the loop so we can see how things are progressing.
I'll say I'm definitely a backer.
Yeah, I'll back you. I have a question about single player, if we're all right for time.
Yeah, we're good for time.
So is like, I know you said you still got like some balancing issues and stuff with single player, but is it like a game where it will need like an automa? Like, I can't think of any examples off the top of my head. Or is it truly like a single player experience?
I don't know what you mean by an automa. Sorry.
Like a
So
player, like another player, but you control them.
Oh no,
Yeah.
no. So it's when it's solo, it is you against the flowers. So you will pick your nymph, which route you want your nymph to take, and you are playing against flowers because during night mode you roll to move them, and if they land on you, they'll attack.
Yeah.
And you might have the nymph. You might have chosen the nymph that can defend if he spends some magic, or you might have found the one that can heal a bit afterwards, or whatever you've chosen. I mean, I love it, and I really actually can't wait to sit down and play like every different nymph against every different route, and just I'm gonna really enjoy it. And I hope others will too.
Well, this is the thing that you with any Kickstarter, and I've not released a game, but I can imagine each project is your little baby, and you want it to succeed, and you put every effort of heart and soul into it, and it's that community cutoff, isn't it? That you're taking that gamble that everyone's going to be as passionate and interested in that game as much as you are invested in yourself.
Yes, exactly that. And I've got to admit, when I've got two, I don't think I even mentioned, I've got 2 games out now. Try to Win and Mini Memory Mischief, and I thought, they're nice little games, and I like working on these little games and also having the big game, because it shows that, people don't normally believe me when I tell them that I really like the little games and I really like the really intense, hard strategy games. I really do. I love it all. So
no reason not to love it all.
It's amazing to me that I can make a bit of everything, and all of it is a learning experience, and all of it is great. But in August, I sent Try to Win out, and the next day, people were messaging me, not just saying they enjoyed my game, not just saying they liked my game, they used the word love. And the idea of anyone else using the word love about my game, people who've never met me before as well, so it's not like my mum who just will love anything I make.
Yeah.
It's crazy to me and absolutely wonderful. So yeah, the idea that someone else likes my games as much as I do is just so wonderful.
Well, I think you've definitely got a following. I know you're on Twitter, and that's how we found you, and that's how I got in communication with you. So anyone who is watching and wants to check out Attican Games, do go check it out. The web address is there, as you can see. You can also see that Nikita has had successful 2 games, Try to Win and Mini Memory Mischief, which I am really excited about playing Mini Memory Mischief, and maybe my team will too. We'll see what they get for Christmas.
Indeed. So I say we do have another couple of questions in on internet lands.
Oh yeah, far away internet, welcome, and yes. Hi.
A good one from Duke. I think we've probably mostly covered this already, but how far along are you in the playtesting, and is there a timeline for the game to be released? So I think you've pretty much covered that already. But...
Yeah, I'll happily say, if anyone's interested and they go to that link, there's the sign-up form for the Kickstarter notifications, but they are Attican Games Kickstarter notifications, so you will hear about all of my projects. But that's maximum 3 a year. That's probably fine, right? but yeah, so my plan is to get a graphicless version of Malum Horus up on Tabletop Simulator in the new year, and then aim to play a playtest game online at least once every 2 weeks until it's done. So I will continue tweaking and finding ways to make it better up until it's released.
Excellent. And the other question from Internet Land is from my lovely wife. Do you have a botanical background, or do you just love plants?
I don't have a botanical background. I do have a bit of a background or love of kind of Greek and Roman mythology. So the idea of them being nymphs as being goddesses, and actually I haven't decided yet whether they're going to be an all-female cast of characters or not, or whether I'm going to put satyrs in it, which are the male. So that's the kind of the background for me of like rune stones and things like that all being part of it. But my mum loves gardening, and I love how beautiful she makes her garden. Actually, my mother-in-law really loves gardening as well. So both of them are sort of like it.
Yeah.
They haven't seen
So
me
a little bit towards the
yet,
inspiration then.
So, and the final question for me is are you looking for help with playtesting? Because I'm sure we'd all like to help.
Definitely, and I would love to play Malum Horus with you guys.
Yep, there you go. There you go. You heard it here. You know that we will be involved with playtesting. Yay! Fantastic, brilliant. We like playtesting, and we like reviewing and being involved with games. So if anyone out there on the internet land, yes, friends, and you are working on a Kickstarter or any projects, and you want to come and talk to us about them on our show, do drop us an email at diaryofalinkedgeek@gmail.com, or you can send me a link through Twitter. You can sort of find us. It's Diary of a Lincoln Geek. You can find us, and you can drop us a message through Twitter as well as Facebook as well. But thank you very much, Nikita. We're going to kind of move on to our next segment now. For anyone who isn't familiar, we've started to try and have a little topic for discussion in the show now. I'm not sure how we're doing that for time, because my timer cut off because, of course, I cut out. How long have we been running, George?
About 45 minutes in. It's all good.
Yeah. So what's new on Kickstarter? Well, we've seen a very interesting little game called Twinkle. It's out on Kickstarter now. Do go check it out. I actually really like the look of this game. George pointed this out.
Little game.
Yes. You actually create your own constellations.
Oh.
Twinkle, twinkle, little star. You create your own little, stellar creations in the sky. I love this mechanic. It sounds awesome. It's for, I think if I remember correctly, 2 to 4 players. And it just looks stunning. George, you did the majority of research on this, but it looks beautiful.
I say, it looks beautiful. It's just my sort of thing. And it looks that nice combination, like we're talking about with Dorderesque and some of these others. Light, but strategic at the same time.
Mm.
And yeah, I just like it. I say it just looks really quick and easy. Nice little coffee table game just to break out when you want to. I'm looking forward to it.
I don't know if my coffee table's big enough. It looks like the kind of game where it could sprawl. Like there's potential for sprawl, maybe.
Could be, yes, to a degree, yes. The aim of the game is that you are creating your own constellation, and you score points based with a unique dice. So you all have a particular color, and you'll have goal cards on the table, which you can see there, and it'll give you bonuses based on colors that you connect up, if I understand correctly. And I'm sure Twinkle V Games will correct me if I'm wrong. I did have a very quick glance at it when George sent me the information across, but it does look really good. Go have a look at it on Kickstarter. They've got a lovely little demo video there. Watch it and check it out, because it looks cool without a doubt. And by the way,
so
guys,
it's still running for about a week or so, isn't it?
Yeah, it's got about a week or so to go. No one pays us to put their we pick out Kickstarters we like the look of. We are not paid for this segment, so do not think we're just plumbing something. We're plumbing it because we actually do like the look of it.
How much does it cost?
George, do you remember?
I don't remember, but I'm looking it up now.
Yeah.
I'm asking for a friend.
Yeah.
Yes, friend.
Because V Games, I think I've done a couple now. This is not their first one, so they're quite an established business, I believe. So I wouldn't be surprised if it's probably a reasonable-ish marker. I would say anywhere between £30 to £40. I can't imagine it being any more than £40. I hope, unless you're going to back it at a higher level, of course. But
It's €30.
€30.
Oh,
That's actually not bad at all. That works out what, 28 quid if I do my quick conversions?
Something like that.
Somewhere around that.
Something about that. That is not bad. That is not bad.
And 17 days to go.
There you go. 17 days left. So go check it out. I'm actually really tempted to back this myself if I had funds in my bank account, because Christmas has dried me out already.
Yes,
So
I know that feeling.
Yes. But, it could be one for the new year. When do you think they probably fulfill this? What do you reckon? 8 months fulfillment? It's about normal. Nikita, you're our Kickstarter expert.
Yeah, it depends where they're getting it done. They will have the delivery dates on Kickstarter, though. They have to.
Yeah. Oh, well, there you go then. So do check out the delivery dates, and do check it out, because it does look very, very cutesy, very colourful. I love the look of it, and sign me up, because if you're not unsure, I'm a bit of a stargazer myself. Anyway, without further ado, we'll crack on with our last segment. So this is the segment I was talking about. We now have a topic of interest where we talk about games you can play over Zoom this time round. Hang on a second, I'm having a bit of a technical faux pas. Don't know what's happened there. So it's not the only game you can play over Zoom, Jaws. There were other images there. I seem to have lost some of the save changes I made earlier to the presentation. Any thoughts on games you can play over Zoom, guys? Because not everyone has multiple copies of the same game. We found this out the other night. I wanted to play a social game with my friends, i.e. George and Suey, along with my wife. And we were like, what games out of all the games that we have, and between just the two of us, between George and Suey and myself and my wife, we've got quite a lot of board games. But what are the games out there that mechanically wise will allow you to play over a Zoom connection? Now, I'm not talking about electronic games here.
I can see Pandemic being quite easy to play over Zoom, because it's cooperative. Everybody can see what each other has. And it could quite easily be controlled by one person who has a copy of the game.
Yeah, so someone DMs it.
Yeah, basically.
I would say, from our playthrough of Jaws, I think it's that there seem to be three key elements of what makes a successful game for sort of the remote but physical copy edition. And so I think Max hit it there with Pandemic, the open hands, so that they don't rely on hidden features, which are unique to players. Cooperative that generally happens with a lot of cooperative games, and even a lot of co-op games where you have the hidden hands. Revealing them wouldn't break them because you're working together anyway.
Yeah, a bit like Hogwarts Battle. You
can
get away with that because you got a cooperative element. You both can show your hands.
I would say showing your hands won't break the game in any way.
No.
So that works nicely. And again, other games simple little tile laying games like Carcassonne, because you don't have any hidden features, it just keeps building on them.
You just have a draw selection of tiles, and then someone can pick where they go.
Precisely. I know, although I do know Carcassonne does have a very good digital edition that is usually which is actually relatively affordable. So
it's got a couple of good digital versions, but only one official one.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, we're not saying you can't go out and not go ahead and buy digital games. But if people have actually got games and they're limited, there could be in a tier 3 area, a bit like we are here in Lincoln. You want to be social with your friends over Zoom. Zoom isn't the only option, by the way. You've got all other sorts of, video chat, functions. We just happen to mention Zoom. And you got a selection of board games, and you want to think about how to, do anything other than just the obligatory quiz, that you do with your friends over Zoom.
We've done quite a few recently, actually, because before the pandemic, every Wednesday night, our best friend came over and we played games. So we will play co-op games. So Dead of Winter, Malum Horus. Most of Malum Horus's playtesting got done by video calls so far. Yeah, I think if you're playing Dead of Winter without the Betrayer cards, because you can choose whether you want to use them or not.
They're an optional, aren't they?
Yeah. So
yeah, that would work too. Yeah.
That's one for us. So this friend is our board gaming buddy, so we kind of see our board gaming sets as each other's.
Yeah.
So if I ever wanted to play Ticket to Ride, he'd bring it over, and he ever wants to play Dead of Winter, I bring it over. And I really miss Ticket to Ride and Pandemic and Small Worlds this year.
Yes.
You're like,
oh, we love Small World.
yes.
Yeah, there's some cracking games out there. And the fact that there's some are able to be converted to be able to play over Zoom. I think people will be interested in watching this and knowing this, which is why we've done this little feature and have this little talk through. Because there's a rumor, and I don't know how true this rumor is, but with social bubbles, you can do a lot with your social bubbles, but apparently not play board games.
It's advised not to play board games
because you're handing pieces around, which sucks. So this is an option.
Indeed.
Yeah.
So I think the only things which I think from our experience, it can be awkward with the technology, that getting the right camera angles. We've both, Chris and I, have benefited from having we've got our cameras set up on a boom arm, so we're very easily able to convert that over to get an overhead shot of the board, which made life quite easy for us.
Yeah.
But there's no reason why, for a lot of these things, why you couldn't take a static picture and send it around your WhatsApp group on a regular basis.
Exactly.
It might be that. There are alternatives to mess around with and play with to make it work.
Go. Sorry.
The one I'm looking forward to try is that earlier this year I spent my very good money getting my copy of Eclipse Second Edition, which I've talked about at no end because I love that game. But I've had very little opportunity to play it with my friends, Chris included. So I think we just managed to get one game through when we were doing the videos for it before we all got locked down.
Yeah.
And I say, good old Dan, he loves Eclipse as much as we do, and he's not had a chance to play the second edition yet. And it's one of those games, because there are no hidden features, that we could get a good game session on with it. So it's just trying to get some time in the diary to do it.
Yeah. I did have an extra slide to kind of demonstrate the kind of equipment, the kit that we have to be able to play some of the games easily. But unfortunately, that slide's been lost because of my connection. So I just loaded up the wrong version in a rush. So I do apologize. But what I'll do is I'll send out links afterwards to the boom arm, the adapter for converting, and a camera adapter to plug on the end of the boom arm, because it works surprisingly well. I mean, I've got my iPhone up on the boom arm now as my camera for the web show, so it works very well. Very adjustable.
That's what you used on the night as well. It worked really well.
Yeah, really well. So I'll drop those links on the chat conversation at a later date, so people can pick that up and have a look at them if they want to. So.
Equally, I believe you've got the review of your setup from when you did it on the website as well, haven't you?
Yes, there is an article on there when I converted everything across to give myself more desk space, ironically. There's all the links are there as well, so you can check that out on the website, like George said, which is www.doalg.co.uk. So do check that out, but I'll put them on the link on the conversation as well. But that kind of brings us to the end. I'm very sad to say I've really enjoyed chatting to you guys. Not sad to say that I've not enjoyed talking to you.
You're sad that it's come to an end because you've enjoyed talking to us.
I was briefly offended.
Yeah. So our next show is not on the 4th of December because, of course, this is the wrong slide pack and the wrong slide deck. The next show is on the 6th of January, if I remember correctly, at 8 p.m. And we have, I want to say...
It's the 8th of January.
8th of January, thank you. Sorry, thank you, George. 8th of January, and we've got a gentleman coming and joining us on the show, and he's going to be talking about Cypher's Core, and it's Wamin Lee. He will be joining us and talking about his new game. His Kickstarter has been delayed because of COVID, so he made the conscious decision to move it to the following year. So he's going to be on the show talking about his game, and hopefully when it will be landing on Kickstarter again. So yeah, we'll be talking to him then.
Yes, I know we've had some sneak peeks and early access looking at that, and it's one I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, it looks really good. It's all about businesses and sneaky stuff. That's how it looks.
The joys of office politics.
Yes, office politics, yes. But no, it's been really great. Thank you, Nikita, for joining us from Attikin Games. It's been really lovely having you here. And do disregard all the graphics, guys, because it's the wrong lot after our technical faux pas. Thank you for everyone for sticking with us and joining us through the technical problem. Thanks, George, for taking over. He did a grand job while I was absent. And again, thank you, Nikita, for joining us. I hope you've enjoyed yourself.
Yeah, thank you for having me. It's been great.
No, good.
And if you ever want to come back on with any of the other Kickstarters in the meantime, I'm sure we'll be able to fit you in the schedule.
I don't plan to stop anytime soon, so.
Fantastic. It could be a lifelong friend of the show here. Let's keep watching this space, guys. We will be putting a review when we get our nitty-gritty hands on Malum Horus. We will be putting a review on the website. So let's hope it meets our expectations. No pressure. Do check out the website, guys. It's www.doalg.co.uk. We are Diary of a Lincoln Geek. Thank you for joining us and have a lovely evening. Take care and stay safe.